Magnus Carlsen recently played a Banter Blitz session. In that session, he took on members of chess24. In this video, I will look at a few tactics they set up against players. Here's an intro to Magnus Carlsen. He's the world champion. His rating on chess24 is above 3100. Stick around until the end, where I will show you the best tactic he set up against a fellow chess24 player. Here, Carlsen has black against chess24. Knight b3 has just been played. Every piece is on the board except a pair of pawns. 2 knights, 2 bishops, 2 rooks, a queen. Now Carlsen strikes in the center with d5. Take, take. Pawns come off. Take, take. Knights come off. And now bishop f4. chess24 pins the knight to the queen. Carlsen now plays bishop d6, setting up the tactic. And here, chess24 falls for it with knight d4. So, pause the video. Can you find a really good way for black to continue? I'll give you 5 seconds. Notice the queen and bishop line up against the bishop, but this bishop is only being protected by the queen. So here Carlsen plays knight takes f3 check. You have to take the knight back, and then after bishop takes f4, black is winning. Black has just won a pawn. Queen moves out the way, and then black now gets another pawn. Take, take. And when you look at this position, it's a dream position for black. 2 bishops right in the middle, slicing the board. Not only that, black is up 2 pawns. Also, we have a perfect bishop right in the center of the board. Let's just quickly see the rest. b4, rook c8, doubling rooks, king h1, bishop takes f3. So here, Carlsen gives up the bishop pair to win a 3rd pawn. Take, rook takes h2 check, and then rook back. Coming after this perhaps, but also this rook can join in the party. Can also come to the 2nd rank. Rook d4, and a good move, g5. You protect your bishop, but also you give your king some room. So then now the rook can actually leave the back rank. There's no point falling for back rank checkmate, just give your king some room. Rook d1, Yusuf blundered with rook d1. So pause the video, can you find a way to win even more material? 5 seconds. The winning move is bishop e3 check, played by Carlsen. King has to go in the corner, and here he didn't even take the rook, even though this is winning. And then let's say rook c1. The king has to go here. Can't go here because this rook is guarding the entire 2nd rank. So if it goes to g1, then rook c1, we're going to win the bishop. There's no way for white to defend it. There's a pawn in the way. So after king h1, Carlsen didn't even take the rook, he just went rook c2. And after rook d3, checkmate in one move. That's why Carlsen put the rook here. Supported by the other rook. Here, rook h2 is mate. Can't go here because of the bishop, and you can't take the rook because of the other rook. Next, tactic. Magnus has white against chess24 user Matepko. Knight a4 has been played. Let's take it from here, leading up to the tactic. Queen d8, knight c5. Knight attacks pawn, queen c8 is possible, even knight d7 is possible. But b6 was played, and now knight d3. Knight d7, Magnus retreats the bishop back to h2, rook c8, and g4. The attack begins, and the tactic will come shortly. Take, take, bishop e4. Very committal move to play a move like g4, because now the bishop just looks so well placed on e4. If black can get c5 in, maybe black's doing okay. This bishop, not so good, because you can trap it with g5. You can shut it out with g5. Rook f1 and knight f8. So let's start here. Pause the video, or I'll give you 5 seconds. How can white continue the attack? Is the bishop so well placed on e4 after all? 5 seconds. The bishop on e4 is in fact a target. Knight f2 played. Let's assess this position. The kings. White's king is much safer than black's. This king is in the middle. It is a huge target. Let's compare the minor pieces. Well, this knight is so useful, about to take the bishop on e4. This knight might come to e6 later. The bishops Well, this bishop is better than this one. It's about to fall. This bishop is better than this. Look at all these squares the bishops are controlling. Look at these incredible diagonals. And the rooks, well, we got 2 rooks each. And white's rook is well placed on the f-file, putting pressure on f7. So knight f2 and this bishop can't really move. If it goes to g2, then, well, rook g1. Maybe then you come back. And at least now white has to use another move to come back to put pressure on e4. Knight f2, knight e6. Take, g5. Shutting out the bishop and bishop a6. Really cool move. Magnus's bishop just slicing the board. The rook on c8 is actually trapped. Rook c7, and Carlsen doesn't even take the rook because his bishops are just so powerful. So he just brings it back to c4. Now there's pressure on f7. Rook is putting pressure. This bishop, well, what's the point in giving this incredible piece up for a rook that is doing nothing? Bishop c4 played, rook d7, and second moment to pause the video. How does Magnus finish off in style? So pause the video, or I'll give you 5 seconds. It's all about attacking f7. Not queen f2 at the moment, maybe black can have rook f8. So Magnus goes for the e4 pawn. This is the weakness in black's position, queen to g2. And there's no good way to defend e4. His opponent plays c5, queen takes e4. And after c takes d4, another moment. Pause the video, finish it off. 5 seconds. This entire structure is now really weak. White has bishop, queen on e6. This rook has been on f7 for the last 5 moves. Just time to crash through. You just get rid of the knight. The defender is gone and queen takes g6 is checkmate. The king really wasn't safe in this game. When I was watching this Banter Blitz session, I thought this was Carlsen's cleanest game. Magnus has black against Angel Killer's GMs. Knight e3, rook f2 has just been played. Notice white's pieces are very congested. And let's try to win one of them. So pause the video or I'll give you 5 seconds. The knight on e4 is not actually well placed because if you attack it, it runs out of squares. f5 played by Magnus. Knight goes to g5 and now we can trap the knight with h6. Black is completely winning. Let's see the rest. Rook e2, take. Now this bishop would be even more amazing. This bishop would have no counterpart if this disappeared. So knight takes g2 played, take, and now knight b4 check. King g1, queen d5. It will be checkmate very soon, but I just want to show you a nice checkmating pattern. So king f2, and it is mate very soon. So here's the first move, queen g2 check. In the game, the guy resigned. Now why did he resign? Well, after king e1, let's just finish it off. It's forced checkmate in 5 moves. By the way, this is just a nice move. Putting the rook on the e-file. So then this rook can't move. Maybe you can take the bishop next. I just want to show you if b3, this is what I mean. You just take the bishop. The rook cannot take the queen because we have a cross pin. It's pinning the rook to the king. So king e1, and yeah, pause the video. It is checkmate in 4 moves. What is the first move? 5 seconds. If it's not rook e8, let's keep checking. So queen h1 check. The king has to go to f2. Now you take the bishop. Check. King f1. Now you throw in the same check, except you've just won his bishop. King f2. Now you check closer again. Just like Magnus threw in the queen g2 check before, forcing the king to e1, and here's the difference. Now it is checkmate in 1 move. Queen to g1. This wasn't possible before because there was a bishop there, but once you get rid of it, we can create this mating pattern. This entire variation was given by Magnus in the commentary. thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. If you enjoyed this short tactical review video of me going through a top player's games, going through Carlsen's games and selecting a few good tactics to show you, then why not like the video and subscribe to the channel at the same time. Make sure you hit that bell, then YouTube will let you know when I release another video. Thank you, and I will see you next time.